So, I'm sure it's fairly obvious that any time that we are faced with a challenging or difficult situation, it is probably best to address it from a place of centeredness, from a place of mental clarity, emotional stability. The question is, how do we get there? Where is that? How do we find that peace, that calm, that ease amidst a difficulty in our lives? So this morning, I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, and my mind was addressing a couple of dynamics in my life where there are some unknowns, recent unknowns, situations that have arisen that do not have answers yet. And what I find in this work, in working with people, is that pretty much it is when things are unknown that is the cause of most consternation. That is the cause of most discomfort. And what happens is the egoic mind wants to immediately tackle, address, fix the unknown so that there can be a return to a sense of peace. This situation is disturbing my peace. I want to be at peace, and so I need to fix the situation. I need to solve the circumstance to come back to peace. What I'd like to offer today is something that is called the direct path. And the direct path says, rather than solve the issue to come back to peace, can I go directly to my essential nature of peace, the consciousness of being, which is peace? Can I go directly to that peace, to that stillness, to that quiet, so that I can then address the difficulty, the challenge, the situation with a more clear mind and a sense of presence. Little quick aside here. Just about every action movie that we've ever seen, where let's say there's a small group of people in a difficult, panicked situation. You know, they're down in a cave and the cave is filling up with water and they're all going to die. Who is the one that typically solves the problem and finds the way out of the dire situation? It's always the character, usually the hero or heroine of the story, who's calm. Everyone else is panicking and they're going, wait. They're just staying present and they're listening and they're feeling. And maybe they feel a little bit of air on the side of their head and they go, wait a minute. Wait, everyone stop. And it's typically what they're saying, right? Everyone stop. Hold on. Everyone stop. Shut up. Get quiet. Stop. Do you hear that? I think I hear sounds from outside the cave. Do you feel that? There's a little fresh air coming in. There's an opening somewhere. Let's follow that fresh air and find the opening. It's the one who's already at peace and calm in the difficult situation that finds themselves free. So this centeredness, coming back to center. Anybody who's performing any sport, let's say, what do they do before they go out and play their tennis match? They center themselves. They clear the mind of its worries, of its doubts, of its uncertainties, of its panic. So they come back to their power, which is their peace. And then from there, they can more clearly be present to the situation. So I want to read you a little something here from Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese monk who has since passed, but has been a beautiful teacher for so many. Silence is something that comes from your heart and not from the outside. Silence is something that comes from your heart and not from the outside. If you are truly silent on the inside, then no matter where you find yourself, you can enjoy the silence. Silence does not mean that we don't talk or do things. Silence means there is an inner silence. Our mind is not disturbed. There is no talking, no ruminating inside. Silence is something that comes from your heart. Silence is something that comes from your heart and not from the outside. Isn't that beautiful? So silence or stillness or peace is the essential nature of consciousness, the essential nature of our being before the mind gets active with all of its ruminations and panic and fear and doubt. Our sense of individuality feels threatened because if this situation isn't resolved, what will happen? What will that mean to me? The situations need to be resolved, most likely. The conditions want to be fixed. I've got some conditions in my life and in my business and different parts of my life that need some solving. There's some hiccups. They need solving. But rather than be in panic mode or anxiousness mode until they get solved, I want to be present to the difficulty from a place of calm and clarity. So, this is why we have our meditation practices of recognizing the inherent stillness of being, the self beyond the mind, the unconditional loving awareness that is consciousness, that we truly are. To return to that stillness gives us a leg up on being with, addressing, tackling, if you will, working with the challenging situations, the unknowns in our lives that need some answers. So in my ebook, The 10 Foundations for Peace and Freedom, one of the 10 foundations is stillness. To have a practice of knowing your stillness is essential. So this morning, waking up at 2 o'clock, the mind, we're already working on things even before I awoke. I awoke into the fixing, into the rumination. And we can train ourselves to say, wait, stop. This does need to be addressed. It does need to be fixed, but I'm not going to go there until I am rested in my power, which is to know my true peace. And so you just train, you train yourself to stop. Be with the breath, and through your meditative training, you already have had direct experience of the stillness of being that you are. So you abide that, you allow that, you recognize that, you trust that. You come to rest not in that, but as that stillness. And then you can start to work on the problem without panic. Another one of the 10 foundations is environment. To have an environment that helps to support and engender that peace, that stillness, that silence. So, do you have playlists of music that are calming, mellow, relaxing music? Do you have incense in your home that deliver a sense of calmness and beauty and presence, or a essential oil diffuser? Is your home a place of peace? Do you have somewhere in your home that you can go to be at peace, to just sit, to journal, to relax, to know beauty, to remember the stillness within? So you want to have an environment that helps engender and support and remind you of the stillness of being that you are. You want your practice, your different tools, going to the breath, self-inquiry. Wait, who am I really? Am I the panicked egoic self that needs to fix this and isn't going to be at peace until it's solved? No, that's just activity of mind. That's habitual activity of mind. That's conditioning and programming. Who am I beyond that? So the self-inquiry that you practice in your meditations, the use of the analogies of the sky that is always at peace regardless of the presence of any manner of weather, the movie screen that's at peace no matter what movie is playing upon it, and the discipline, the remembering. I do want to solve this issue. This is an important part of my life, and I want to find the fix, find the solution. And I know that I'm going to be able to do so with more effectiveness, efficiency, creativity. I'm going to probably have access to even more possibilities of solving the issue if I come to the quiet within, the stillness within. First, start there. Start with stillness. And as that, address the issues, the difficulties, the circumstances in your life that need some attention. So if anything, this is really just a call and a reminder to be attentive in your practices of knowing your inherent nature of being, which is stillness. I'm going to read this quote one more time. Silence is something that comes from your heart, not from the outside. If you are truly silent on the inside, then no matter where you find yourself, you can enjoy the silence. Silence does not mean that we don't talk or do things. Silence means there is an inner silence. Our mind is not disturbed. There is no talking, no ruminating inside. The mind is not disturbed. So I awoke this morning at 2 a.m. with a disturbed mind. And through my practice and discipline, I realized I didn't want to rumble around in there in a state of anxiety, so I stopped. I used my practices to return to the inherent silence and stillness and grace of being that I am. And then I brought my mind back to fix the problem, to work on the problem, but it was not a disturbed mind. It was no longer a disturbed mind. It was a mind that felt safe within the stillness of being, so that it could be brilliant, so that it could do what it's good at, fix things, solve things, figure things out, but not from a place of disturbance, but from a place of peace. The mind was able to really be in its power. See, the power of the mind is its amazing ability to work things out. And our true power is to know the essential peace and grace and stillness and silence of being. All right, my friends, much love. Blessings.